Today is Monday. It's January the 13th, 2025. Last couple of weeks in our new book, His Table, meditations and thoughts around the table when we eat the Lord's Supper together. In many churches, one will get up and have a short lesson, sometimes a little bit longer lesson. Yesterday at Woodlawn, Brock Wyndham had a tremendous lesson before we ate the Lord's Supper together. I enjoy that. I like that. Sometimes one just stands up and leads a prayer, and that's okay too. I like that too. I like it that we meet every Sunday around the Lord's table. So the last 2 weeks, our readings have been about his prophecies. Well, this morning we move into another section called his teachings, Jesus' teachings about his death. The table meditation this week is by James Baker. I won't read that, but we will read today through Friday readings from Adam Vaughn about Jesus' teachings. The title today was, It Was Destroyed. Think about that word destroyed. He'll give a good description of it in a few moments. Today's scripture comes from John chapter 2 and verse 19. Again, this is Adam Vaughn, F-A-U-G-H-N, writing in the third week of our book that we're reading together, His Table. It was destroyed. He writes this, Isaiah prophesied that the suffering of God's servant would be horrific. We sometimes overlook the statement that the servant's appearance would be so marred that it would be beyond human semblance. That's exactly what Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 14 says from the English Standard Translation. That his appearance would be so marred that it would be beyond human semblance. So when Jesus used the phrase, destroy this temple, in John chapter 2 and verse 19, there is no way he was understanding it. It's easy to picture a building being destroyed. Each of us has seen a building completely ruined through storms, neglect, or intentional action. Maybe you've watched videos of huge structures. I certainly have, and it's interesting to watch. But he writes, maybe you've watched videos of huge structures such as an outdated baseball stadium or a now unsafe high-rise building being intentionally demolished from top to bottom, not necessarily bottom to top. And maybe you've seen the pictures of rubble remaining where that huge structure was or once stood. You might be able to make out a part of an old scoreboard or a few windows, but the building is now unrecognizable. You know, those that are just now and maybe the last several days going back through their neighborhoods in California where the wildfires have gone through, that one of the things they have said is they just can't recognize it. And those in North Carolina, especially North Carolina, but other parts toward the east, that as the floods came through last year, that places were just left unrecognizable. That's hard to believe, but it happens. And Jesus said, I'll destroy this temple, his body, and it'll be unrecognizable. This is what Isaiah prophesied about Jesus when he would go through the suffering involving the cross. Just as the Jewish temple would be so reduced to rubble, so the body and face of Jesus would be made to be unrecognizable through the suffering he endured. Movies, plays, artwork, and TV shows have all tried to portray Jesus on the cross, but none have likely been fully accurate so as to show how unhumane he looked at the time he took his last breath. You know, the movie that came out several years ago, The Passion of Christ, they did as good a job as they could with the crucifixion, with the beatings and the torture. But yet even in the movie, we could recognize the main character there, one portraying Jesus. While destroyed is a word we rarely use of the body of Jesus, it is the one he used. He was physically destroyed. That alone should cause us to think more deeply when we consider reflecting on the table of the Lord. Boy, what a good thought, and so true. And just yesterday, we met around the table, and I thought about things we read about last week, about the preciousness of Christ, and especially on Friday, his payment, the payment that he made for us. This week, we can think about, he said himself, his body would be destroyed. Destroy this temple, and I'll raise it up in 3 days. And of course, he meant his body. He concludes with, today I will try not to sanitize the picture of Jesus on the cross, but will remember that he was destroyed for me. Isn't that interesting, the word he used? I will not try to sanitize. I will not try to clean up how Jesus looked. Because Isaiah writes and says he was so marred that the very semblance of him, he just could not be made out to who he was. Hope you have a good day. These are gruesome thoughts, but hope you have a good day. And as again we build our lives, we build our thoughts towards Sunday when we meet around the Lord's table. Remember those that are sick and not doing well. Remember Gary Penley, as he'll be taking treatments. I know Pat Chandler, they announced yesterday, Wednesday, will be taking a treatment. I forget exactly how they explained it, but remember Pat Chandler, remember Clay and Pat, but especially Pat in your prayers this week. Remember Linda Lumpkins, Ron Lumpkins' wife. She's been sick for a while, and today it was announced they'll be taking her home today, but they'll be taking her home under hospice care. And please remember Linda and Ron, and please continue to pray that she could be well as possible, and her life could be spared and have many, many days. But remember this family. Remember Liberty Ann Brown, as she's still in the hospital in Vanderbilt in Nashville. Something to do with her spleen. They say she's doing better, but still not got a lot of information about it. And just so many. Remember these two ladies I just saw on Facebook last night. They've just announced it, Mandy and Erin. Mandy is going to give a kidney, I think just here real quick, this week maybe, but sometime quick. Mandy will be giving a kidney, and hopefully Erin can receive it, that it will be a match. But my understanding, they won't know till they get there. And if it doesn't match Erin, our prayer is that it'll go to someone quickly that needs a kidney. So remember Mandy and Erin and their families, and that this will work for both of them, and their health will be restored. And Mandy will recover from this great sacrificial gift. But so many we need to pray for. Continue to remember Tommy McCorkle and Natalie Allred, that they'll be well and doing well, not just being well, but doing well. And so many others we've mentioned. But have a good day and a safe day, and be a blessing to others, but make sure that we are a blessing to God, who blesses us every day. See you in the morning.